You've never had stuffed bread like this before. Hi, I'm Bruno, and today we're baking something that goes way beyond your typical loaf. This one's filled to the brim, and it tastes like Portugal. It's rustic, it's bold, it's the kind of bread that doesn't even make it to the table. And the best part, you don't need to be a pro baker to get this done. We'll just let the dough do its thing and the oven will turn it into gold. Let's do it. So grab a good onion, big, sweet, yellow, and slice it thin. Not paper thin, not chunky, just enough that it softens and melts when it hits the heat. But onions is not the only thing we're gonna make. We'll also slice some red pepper for color and sweetness on our bread. Put a pan over medium-low heat with a splash of olive oil. You don't want it too hot. I'll add our onions and peppers. We're not trying to brown the onions in 5 minutes. We're aiming for slow and deep. I'll add some salt into it. I'll stir them to coat and then I'll let them settle. They'll sizzle gently at first, releasing that sharp, earthy scent. And now we wait. This is your moment to slow down. Every few minutes come back and give them a stir. Don't let them stick or burn. They should soften, slump down, start turning golden. The longer they go, the sweeter they'll get. We're drying out their sugars, not just cooking them, we're transforming them. After about 15 minutes, they'll be soft, golden and glossy. The sharpness is gone, and what's left is sweet, savory and rich, almost jammy-like. Alright, our onions are cooling, and now it's time to bring the heart of this bread to life. This dough, it's humble. No sourdough starter, no obscure flours, no tricks. In the big mixing bowl, we start with strong bread flour. This flour gives us the chew, the structure, the crust we want. You can use all-purpose in a pinch, but if you can get bread flour, it's worth it. Now, I'll sprinkle in the yeast. I also like to add a small pinch of sugar here. Give it a quick mix. Next, some salt. Never skip this. Salt does more than season. It strengthens the gluten and slows down the yeast just enough to help develop flavor. We want that balance. Now I'll add in some warm water. Not hot, just warm. This wakes up the yeast and brings everything together. If the water is too hot, it will kill the yeast. Now let's mix. Using the stand mixer, attach the dough hook and mix on low just until everything comes together. And optional but lovely, and I forgot earlier, a little olive oil. Just a drizzle, it softens the crumb and adds the roundness to the flavor that plays beautifully against the chorizo and cheese later. Some people might skip it, I almost did, but add it on. Flour, water, salt, yeast. Once it starts to look like a shaggy mass and it has no dry spots, stop it. Let it stay for 30 minutes to fully hydrate the flour. Simple but important. After that time, increase to medium and let it knead for about 5 to 6 minutes. You're aiming for smooth and elastic. Now comes the fun part, the fillings. This is where this bread becomes a meal. Now into the bowl we layer in the flavor. Start with the chorizo, thinly sliced, and yes, lots of it. While it will cook with the bread, melting its spicy fat into the dough as it bakes, the bread becomes the pan. The oven does the work. Next, the cheese. Use something melty but with personality. I went with some mozzarella balls because I want to have those pops of cheese show up inside the bread. But you can use whatever cheese you prefer. I also like to add some parmesan for that extra saltiness. And then I'll add the caramelized onions and peppers. Cool by now, soft and golden. These add sweetness and depth, weaving through the spicy and the smoky like a quiet little melody. Switch to the lowest speed, let it run until everything is mostly incorporated. 30, maybe 60 seconds tops. You don't want to break the fillings too much or overwork the dough. We're not aiming for perfect distribution, we're aiming for surprises in every bite. Next we let it rest, and rest is where the real transformation begins. This next step is called a cold ferment. It's where the flavor really comes alive. Cover the bowl with some plastic wrap and pop the whole thing into the fridge and forget about it for a while. Anywhere from 12 to 24 hours is perfect. And don't worry if it looks a little chaotic. This isn't a uniform grocery store loaf, it's an artisan style. You don't need a fancy proving basket or special fridge setup. Use what you have, a bowl, a fridge and a little patience. We've waited overnight, the dough has puffed and relaxed. The fillings have had time to mingle and your fridge smells faintly of spiced cheese and anticipation. Now it's time to shape. First things first, turn your oven all the way up. We want it blazing. Preheat it to 250 Celsius, around 480 Fahrenheit, and place your Dutch oven inside to heat it up. If you don't have one, just set it on a tray after shaping and bake it at the same temperature. Let it preheat for at least 30 minutes, even if your oven says it's ready before then. Turn it to a floured surface with the parchment paper. I forgot to add the parchment paper, so I had an extra step to put the bread on the parchment paper. It will feel a little bit sticky, so flour your hands too. Don't punch it down, this dough already done the hard work, we're just guiding it to its final form. We'll tuck it in from the sides and the bottom. Use a scraper if you have one, if not, just use your hands. We're aiming for a round or oval loaf. It doesn't need to be perfect, in fact, a few lumps and bumps make it more beautiful in the end. Dust the top with a little flour. Now we bake. Using the corners of the parchment paper that I had so much work to get it on, gently lift the dough and lower into the Dutch oven. Carefully cover the pot with the lid and slide it back into the oven. Set a timer for 30 minutes. For now we're baking covered. This traps the steam that escapes from the dough and creates a kind of shiny, blistered crust. No need to spray water or create steam trays. The Dutch oven does it all. And after the 30 minutes, it's time to remove the lid. The loaf will look half-baked. The surface will be pale, but it will look cooked. But now it's time to go for color, crunch, and the final transformation. Bake it and cover for another 30 to 40 minutes, depending on your oven. Watch it, smell it. Should deepen into a golden brown. Maybe even a little darker at the edges where cheese and chorizo have poked out and crisped up. You'll know it's done when it feels hollow when tapped. Or, if you want to be sure, stick a thermometer. Inside should be around 95 Celsius. But honestly, you'll know by the smell, the color, and the way it feels when you lift it out. And now the hardest part, leave it alone. Let it rest for at least 30 minutes before you cut into it. I know it's cruel, but this rest allows the crumb to set and the molten cheese to relax, so your slices don't become a mess of goo and steam. Slice it. Let everyone see those fillings stretch and ooze. Pair it with a glass of red wine or just some butter, and you've got a meal. And yes, you can make a plain version of this bread, but trust me, once you try this stuffed version, plain won't cut it anymore. This isn't a background bread, this is a main character bread. It's something you bake to share. And the best part, it looks like a bakery showstopper, but it came from your hands, your oven, your kitchen. One loaf, a handful of bold ingredients, and a moment you won't forget. And if this rustic Portuguese stuffed bread made you hungry, make sure to check this video out. This stuffed brioche will blow your mind. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye!